women don't really want the lifestyle. They want a man who can make them feel safe, secure, and provided for. Notice the three words I used. See, a lot of us, myself included, we're conditioned into thinking that we need to be able to provide financially. And when you provide financially, then you'll be able to have the woman of your dreams. Then you'll be able to be seen as capable and competent of dating. But see, the problem with that is that when you don't put yourself out there, develop the number one skill you need as a man to date, which is your ability to lead. Not lead men, but to lead women, because it's a totally different dynamic. You see, with men, you know, we know the hierarchy within each other. We know when someone is more capable, more competent, and naturally we follow, or naturally they follow us. With women, you know, a lot of guys in the space like to say, oh, well, you know, they shit test and they do this and they do that. Motherfucker, they're waiting for you to give them a directive. They're waiting for you to take initiative and take charge. So when you're with dealing with a woman, you have to be aggressive, bold, courageous, and you have to take over. If you guys ever played any of the 2Ks, right, you gotta have 2K takeover on when you're dealing with these women, because we're in a society where they're masculine. Women act more like men than men act like men. Men act more like women. You see, I'm a victim of this too myself. Have you ever been in a relationship, right? And you tell your woman, well, you just choose and, you know, we'll figure out where to go. You know, you just choose the idea and you plan the date and I'll take you. And to a woman, that's so ugly. That's so, that's such a turnoff because they want you to direct. They don't want to think. And when you play it safe with women, when you're not that pattern interrupt and you're like every other guy, they categorize you as every other guy. What does that mean? They start to shit test you more. Shit test. Everybody shit test. Everybody. We all test each other. It's not a conscious thing, it's a subconscious thing. You know, for men, it's like, okay, I want to see if this guy will actually stand up for himself. So let me poke at him. Let me poke at him. For a woman, it's like, let me see how much I could get away with. If I do this to him, will he say something or is he gonna let me get away with it? And a lot of men, you know, in this space, they they've brought this out to light, the shit testing, not realizing that we all do it to each other. And you've created an environment that makes men self monitor and overly monitor the woman. If you're a competent leader and you're capable of setting direction, creating safety with your woman, you won't have to worry about shit test because you're naturally gonna do whatever the fuck it is that you want to do. You're naturally gonna be honest and authentic and speak from a place of truth in your perspective because you'll understand that it's much easier to do things honestly, even if it's more uncomfortable in the moment, than it is to lie and sneak around. See, a lot of men, the average man, even when he cheats, he fucking lies. But men have always had the ability throughout history to have multiple women, and women are okay with it. Some of them aren't, but some of them are. So it's better to put your balls on the line and take a chance. But see, a lot of y'all are scared to lose the woman, and I've been there too. So it's a all of us issue, you know? We have to be better leaders, and we have to take charge and be responsible. So that way we could avoid bullshit. Because when we let the woman lead and we let them do things, to be you guys already know how it is. There's a lot more chaos, it's a lot more up and down. You're fucking spending a fuck ton of money and shit like that. When you do shit that you want to do, you'll filter out good women and bad women faster, because a good woman is gonna want to be with you. And when you begin to accept this, that a woman wants to be with you, the authentic version of you, not the guy posing to be tough and strong, not the guy posing and fucking flexing for the gram and fucking, flashing his money, and just trying to be an overachiever, just you. You without the mask, you without the bat suit, just you. But see, a lot of us have been conditioned into believing we have to be the provider, which is true. We do have to provide for our women, but that's not only financially. Providing also means spiritually. How can you lead them? Mentally, how can you feed their mind with good things? Do you have something to teach them? How's your mindset? Can you transfer that over to her? You know, physically and financially is the easy part, but spiritually and mentally, can you help her overcome her psychological blocks, her traumas? What type of woman are you dealing with in the first place? That's like a totally different topic right there. But these are things that we have to consider. So that way we put ourselves in better positions, you know? When you take directive, you create so much safety for them. And all it takes is like not asking for fucking permission. Not asking for permission. Like one of the things that I realized, or when I realized this, was during cold approaching. This is why I'm big on men cold approaching, because it forces you to be an initiator. It forces you to take initiative, and it forces you to lead right off the jump. Because anybody who's cold approach knows if you come in weak, you're gonna get a weak ass response. If you come in nice, you're gonna get a nice response. To see success, you have to take control from the very moment that you open that fucking interaction. Because if not, you're not setting the direction. You're not providing any clarity. What value are you bringing within that 2-minute presentation of yourself? Nothing. See, you already have the balls to go up. That's good. But can you set a direction? Because if you can, bruh, if you could set a direction, bro, like, you know how attractive that is for the woman? People feel safe when a man can provide direction, clarity, and safety. Physically and financially, many of us could do that. Mentally and spiritually, though, not a lot of men are able to do that. Nope. And even then, can you keep your edge and be bold and aggressive and take charge without being weak? That's another thing. Can you tell them what to do without hesitating? Hey, you need to do this, this, and that. Like, these are things we have to consider so we could have healthier relationships. So we could have women that actually follow us and submit to us. Be someone worth submitting to. Be someone worth following. Don't be worrying about these fucking shit tests and these fucking, oh, I need to get the bag before I get a woman. Bro, work on your fucking dating skills while you're getting the bag. Go cold approach. If you need to use the apps, use the fucking apps. But when you're out on dates, make sure you're planning the fucking date. Let her object. Let her object. But take control. Take initiative. Set the direction. They're not going to say no. And if they do, if they object and they're like, well, I want an expensive dinner, that lets you know what fucking type of woman they are. And most oftentimes than not, when you fucking set the direction right away, they're not gonna fucking object. Because it's like, oh shit, this guy actually knows what he wants to do. And this is where that idea comes in of like, have a world for the woman to join. This is something that I realized yesterday actually, because I was sitting with some buddies at a cafe, a bar cafe. Yeah. And we're sitting around talking about, name me 10 date ideas. Boom, off the top of your head. My good friend, my brother, he named 10, and I named another 10. And I realized I actually have a lot of spots. Being single has forced me to go out of my shell and go learn these different places and just travel and explore. So now, like, I have all these different activities for us to do when I actually go out, and they can actually join me instead of like, oh, let's figure it out. Oh, why don't you choose? And that's something that my ex was big on. I wasn't always direct. I was in the beginning of the relationship, but as I began to lose my edge, became a lot more passive and safe. And I wouldn't provide that direction, which then leads to instability, which then leads to, that constant testing from them. Because at the end of the day, they want to be safe. And if you're not a competent leader, you're just going to go find someone else who will take charge. And this is where they get confused with the chaotic man, that douchey, arrogant player boy. Because the thing that dude does, first of all, he don't give a fuck about losing her. Number two, he don't give a shit what he say. He just doing him. And you being a better man than the bums out there, why wouldn't you take directive? Why wouldn't you take charge? You're actually capable and competent to do so. You actually deserve it because you understand with a great power comes great responsibility. So you not leading, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're doing everybody else around you a disservice. Touch on that last point, you know. Everything physically, everything physically, your height, your weight, your money, it could all be overcome if you let your authentic self out. Ambition is attractive. Competent is attractive. Direction, being directive, being commanding is attractive. Being actually present in the moment and not pedestalizing her beauty and actually listening to her is attractive. Being able to express yourself articulately, or being able to express yourself without any shame creates a safe environment for her as well. Because a lot of these dudes that are like douchey player boys, a lot of them, bro. I was one of them. They're insecure. A lot of those guys are emotionally unavailable. They're not willing to be vulnerable. I'm not saying tell your woman everything because you already know how that goes. You know what I mean? But there's a certain level of vulnerability or a certain level of, you know, openness that you should have with her. Because at the end of the day, do you really want to be with someone that you can't fucking trust? She's a reflection of you. So if you can't even be real with her, I mean, like, you're just gonna be hyper vigilant all the time. Unless it's like a woman that you're not taking seriously, which is that's a topic for another day. But these are things that we have to fucking consider. So look within and ask yourself, what value do I bring? Don't don't tell me your fucking bank account number. You know, don't tell me your bank account number. What value do you bring? Without the fame, without the money, without the status, we're still men and we still have power within ourselves. But it takes you recognizing that, so that when you are around a woman, you naturally take over. Naturally. And I'll share one last thing today, right? One last thing. Don't be afraid to handle the responsibility of embracing that power within. You're not doing a disservice to these women or to these people, because a lot of people do need direction and clarity. And if you're able to even inspire them a little bit, you're doing a great job. Whether your actions or with your words, always keep in mind that you never know who you could inspire. Shit, y'all might inspire me one day. Peace.